There's another thing that strikes me about this book, and it's the way that there are a few reporters who are identified who seem to influence other reporters. In 1972, I think the leading guy was R.W. Apple, Johnny Apple of the New York Times.
Walter Mears, too, of the AP. There was a saying about what's the lead, Walter, which was sort of the stock phrase that these guys would say on the campaign trail, and that was to Walter Mears, what is the news out of this event? What's the lead of the story? I think that there are still those individuals on the campaign trail, certainly, but I think there is much more fragmentation now in the political news media, and there's just so many outlets that you don't quite have the same packed journalism that you probably did in 72.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me just challenge that. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think if I follow the coverage, there are many, many outlets who all will obsess over the same irrelevant story at the same time.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, sure.
But that's less of, turning to one person who's sort of the pack leader. And I think part of that is a result of Twitter, which is that anyone with a handle can tweet out a story and generate buzz for a story. So it doesn't matter if you're the senior correspondent or you're a blog with a scoop. And then it all sort of gets retweeted.
Yeah.
If you just see lots and lots of tweets about something, you feel compelled to jump on that story?
I think we at least feel compelled to look into it, if nothing else.
That's right.
In a way, Twitter is the new bus. I mean, there is obviously a physical bus, and there's a bubble that we've all been in. But because you can follow the campaign, I'm struck now.
In real time.
In real time.
Right.
I'm struck now, even sitting in an office, how inside the bubble I can feel without actually picking up the phone and calling my reporters.
Also, one reflection of Twitter is, I can only speak for the Romney campaign, but I think they do this most closely, is how closely the Romney people monitor Twitter. You might read a front page story and you don't hear from them, and they will go crazy and yell at you for individual tweets. We asked them about this, and they said the reason is they can sort of see a story where it's headed before the first word has even been written. So if a bunch of people tweet about no women being at a Romney event or a lot of women being at a Romney event, they know that's the storyline, and they can start pushing back before the story even comes.
Yeah, I actually wrote a very smart story about this. They are consumed by the conversation on Twitter, and you'll hear frequently from campaign staff who themselves aren't on Twitter, but who follow along to see what the press corps is saying. The best example of this was the day Romney gave that speech in Detroit at Ford Field, the empty football stadium.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, giant venue and hardly anybody there, so it seemed, yes.
And then he said that his wife drove a couple of Cadillacs. So you had those two sort of stagecraft related gaffes, and even before the stories were filed, the Romney staff knew where the stories were going, and they were just on fire.